This is Caleb with HACKADAY, and today we're going to be talking about the top 10 movie hacking failures. Let's get started. With number 10, we have the core. They need to get through a door, and the only way to get through is to hack open the control panel and hotwire it. What they find inside is a breadboard. Not going to happen on a finished product like that. But I guess it's technically possible, and I've seen worse messes before, so hey, it gets number 10 instead of anything else. Up next at number 9 is Jurassic Park. It's a classic scene everybody likes to make fun of. The young girl sits at a computer screen, looks at the screen, says, "I recognize this is Unix," and so then she's able to control everything. What they show on the screen is a 3D file system, and a lot of people like to point out that that was the problem, but it wasn't. It was real. That was called FSN, and it was used on Unix systems in theory. But that's just like her sitting down and saying, "I recognize this is Windows," and then suddenly being able to control everything. Just because you recognize the operating system doesn't mean you have full control over everything. Up next, at number 8, we have Firewall, a movie with Harrison Ford, where he actually pulls off a pretty neat looking hardware hack. He has to get some data off of his screen to send to somebody else. And what does he do? He does what any logical person would do. He pulls the analog scanning head out of his scanner, plugs it directly into an iPod and hits record and scans the screen. I don't think it really works like that. There's also a cool little trick that we learned a long time ago called print screen, which probably would have saved the day. Up next, at number 7, we have Goldeneye. Boris is a great hacker. He's fabulous. He's so good, he can send a spike across the internet that kicks off his opponents, I guess. I'm not really sure what happened there. But it was probably just a plot device and didn't really need any more of an explanation than that. For number 6, we have the movie Hackers. A lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it. One thing it did horribly was showing what happens when people hack. They were flying through giant 3D visualizations of the data, and this wasn't a real file system. This was just ridiculous. I mean, it was terrible. Real hacking doesn't happen like that. It's not a giant video game. But then again, that movie was made when all that stuff was fairly new, so we're going to cut it a little more slack than we'll cut the next one. At number 5, Operation Swordfish, or was it just Swordfish? Swordfish! With Hugh Jackman. Again, 3D visualizations of viruses that actually look like real viruses? That's ridiculous. That's not how hacking works. At number 4, we have Skyfall, the latest in the James Bond series. They again are guilty of the 3D rendering of hacking. It doesn't work like that. They show a big point cloud of data or some kind of sphere of encrypted data, and to decrypt it, James Bond just happened to recognize a word in the encrypted data, and that turns out to be the password. Alright. You're already insanely off. But then when they put in the password, the encrypted data that we're looking at transforms into the image, the 3D structure of a map. It just hurts my brain. Come on. Number 3, live hard or die trying. The hackers put bombs in people's computers and trick them into using a keystroke to blow it up. Don't they realize that people are using these keyboards all day long anyway? Wouldn't it blow up prematurely or something? It's bad. It's really bad. Number 2. This one holds a special place in my heart because I truly couldn't tell if it was a joke or not. It's in the movie Enemy of the State, and they need to zoom in and see what's in somebody's bag using satellite imagery. Once they get zoomed in, Jack Black actually says, rotate that around the vertical axis or something to that effect, and they rotate it in 3D space. It's the same trope you see in all the TV shows now. It's horrible, it's ridiculous, it can't happen, and I honestly thought it was a joke because it was Jack Black. Well, it's pretty ridiculous. But that brings us to number 1. Number 1 isn't a movie. It's all these TV shows, the crime TV shows, NCIS, CSI, Bones, all of them. The hacking portrayed in them is so ridiculous I heard somebody say that they thought it was a conspiracy, like a joke between all of them to see who could do the worst. And I think they're right. I'm pretty sure that those shows are competing to see who can show off the most ridiculous and incorrect portrayal of technology or hacking. A perfect example would be in NCIS when two people were typing on the same keyboard at the same time to fight back a hacker in real time. I can't even explain this off with them being ignorant. They probably typed out the script for this on a keyboard. They're familiar with how it works, and they know that two people can't type side by side on the same keyboard. They have to be doing it on purpose. So number one are all of the crime TV shows. Congratulations, guys. You did it. Number one. All right, fails are easy. There's so many fails, it was hard to even decide whether we were going to do failed tropes or common failed messages on screens or goofed screenshots. The fails are just too numerous to count. What I'd really love to do would be successful hacks in movies. So be sure to comment and tell us what hacks you've seen in movies that were realistic, that seemed like they could actually work in real life, and why.